How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good. Let's change my glasses so I can actually see the screen.
Oh,
Yeah. Funny, not funny.
yeah. Let's see. Oh, wow, there's 8 people waiting in the room. How did I not see that? That's okay. There we go. Everybody's coming on. Good to see you, Judy, by the way. Sorry.
Thanks. Good to see you too.
We just had a healthy 2 minutes of my last, are any of you guys here and go to my free Friday coaching call at all? Do any of you do that?
I did not know about that.
Oh yeah, I've had that for years. Are you familiar with empirebuilders.pro?
I have that.
Yeah, so if you go into empirebuilders.pro and go over the right under resources, it has other things I do, and one of them is a free Friday coaching call. You click on it, but I'll put my assistant's email in the chat, and you can email her, and she will, and say, hey, Rick asked me to email you to get my name on the free Friday coaching call list. That way you'll get the emails with the recorded the recordings of each call. So we record them all, and then when we do the calls are the first and third Fridays of the month. Okay. At 9 a.m. California time. Okay, well, good to have you all. MC, Crystal, Laura Lee, Dewey, Michael and group, not just Michael. Hi, guys. And Tina, Jordan, and of course, I already said hi to Judy. Jordan, how you doing? Good. Love that color of glasses. So my wife buys a lot from readers.com. Where did you get yours?
The 99-cent shop.
Oh, okay. Even better. All right. Okay, how many of you are still using readers? I use them once in a while. I use my wife's. Are yours readers, Judy?
So mine are special for computer screen, and they're prescription just for the computer. They're beyond readers because my trifocals.
Yeah. Well, mine are both the top one. Well, there's the bottom one's for book and then computer. But I don't pass the computer. I don't need any glasses. So, yeah. Okay. Well, good to have you all. So I'm already recording and I'm going to pull up a little bit about week 3, but I'd love to know how many of you are caught up to the point where you did watch week 3. And it's okay. Be honest. Good. All right. A lot of you. That's awesome. Okay. Laura Lee, very proud of you. So Hudson, all the other men wish that you would stay off camera because you're too handsome for the rest of us. So I'm kidding. All right. So Mike, the lady sitting to Michael Henry, the lady sitting to, it looks like your left, you raised your hand. Could you tell us your thoughts about week 3? You know, what you learned, what it might help you to do differently. And I don't know how your voice will resonate, so go ahead and try talking and we'll see how you come across.
Hi, Rick, it's Missy Smith.
Oh, hi, Missy.
Hi.
Sorry, it was last week you were a lot closer up on the screen, so I didn't realize
don't worry. I'm actually even better looking farther away, so it's all good. We were just sitting here talking about week 3 and some of the stuff that we got out of it. And I think some of the key points that we touched on was, having something to follow just kind of allows you to lessen your room for error. Yeah, the scripts. We were talking about the scripts and stuff.
Okay.
And we were also talking about the fact that the one example where they had, oh, come on, the one guy.
The LP MAM script, or which one?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
the guy did the call.
Yeah, he was basically, it was an intake call, like a buyer intake lead, and they did a little role play on one of the third video, I think. So we're talking about that. And we also were talking about this kind of, that ongoing discussion of, well, we don't want to sound too scripted. And I was suggesting that, if you don't follow another script, you're going to create your own scripts. So you kind of want to make sure that you got the right material coming out.
Yeah.
And you're developing that habit.
Yeah. And did you guys like the way they role played them? And do you feel like, because role playing is probably one of the most avoided things in real estate, and yet it really helps you to get more comfortable. When I'm teaching a class and people say, "Guy, you said that script so easily," and I go, "Yeah, I've done it 8 million times," right? So what did you get about that? About the feeling that I can get on the phone with a cold internet lead that often are exactly that. The interaction also seems cold, and then what will I do to warm it up? So talk to me a little bit about that.
I think that what we were discussing was the idea that not only to follow scripts, and even when they feel like they're weird or don't sound like you, the biggest takeaway of them is that it gives you the points that you're supposed to form as a habit, but obviously you can put in your own words. So role play is really important because you're just creating a good habit. And the other thing that the other kind of takeaway that we got from it too is we had noticed that the agent kept repeating the client's name throughout the conversation.
Yep.
So building that rapport was, not only building the rapport, but making that person feel like, I know who you are.
Yes, and there's a lot of what seeps into there is this stuff called NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, education, or other people like to call it the language of sales. But nodding your head when you're asking for a yes is that, and also saying the name over and over and over again, which also solidifies it for you. It serves very many purposes, which is you're never going to freaking forget their name because you said it 900 times, but also it reminds them that you're being personal and getting their attention, and that this isn't a script designed for anyone else but them. Okay. KCM, I'm not familiar. Are you guys all familiar or heard of Keeping Current Matters? It's a site that you can subscribe to. You can also use it for free, but if you subscribe to it, you get some other. Well, they're coming out with a product shortly, a video product, where you basically pick up your phone and start recording a video, and they have a teleprompter on there to tell you what to say. And then at the right time, they throw in, what do they call them? Graphics of the point you're making. And it's so cool. The product hasn't come out yet. I don't know what it's going to cost, but that, like, I showed it to all the people on my team. Everybody's like, I'm going to get that because if the teleprompter's there, right there, and that's the screen you're looking at, then nobody really feels you're personalizing it, right? So there's a lot to be said out there about what technology and progress has done for our ability to seem and appear more human to the people that we are prospecting. Does that make sense to everybody? Yeah, good for you guys. All right, and does anybody recall what was the scroll that was being referred to today in week 3? Yes, that there's a scroll referred to in week 3, and I'm gonna turn my camera off for a second, step away to get my book. Yeah, go ahead, Judy.
Act now.
I will act now. Is everybody in agreement that that's the one? Great. And who has the book? I know that Jordan does. Good. Jordan, do you want to read us the first, the first part of that?
I'm not sure what page it's on.
Does anybody remember what scroll number it is?
It's page 93. I don't have the book, but
yeah, it says it in there. Yeah, so page 93. So
The scroll marked 9. That's what this one says on page
Well, yeah,
93.
as long as does it start with I will act now?
Now it says my dreams are worthless in this book.
Oh.
Okay, okay, wait, here we go.
Yeah.
My dreams are worthless, my plans are dust, my goals are impossible. All are of no value unless they are followed by action. I will act now.
Okay, keep going. A little more.
Never has there been a map, however, carefully executed to detail and scale, which carried its owner over even 1 inch of ground. Never has there been a parchment of law, however fair, which prevented one crime. Never has there been a scroll, even such as the one I hold, which earned so much as a penny or produced a single word of acclamation. Action alone is the tinder which ignites the map, the parchment, the scroll, my dreams, my plans, my goals, into a living force. Action is the food and drink which we will nourish. My success. I will act now. Do you want me to continue?
Nice. No, that's good. We just wanted to hear a little bit about it. That's actually a really good scroll. And by the way, I found this resource for you guys, for all of us actually, not just you. And that I just put in the chat, if you'll click on it, it's a printable version of just the scrolls, not the whole book.
Oh, nice.
And I think it's 32 pages or so, but I think it's worth the paper. So. All right. Good. So the rest of you that are not in Michael Henry's room, Laura Lee, Hudson, Angela, Marlise, Memsi, any of you, tell me a little bit about your experiences with the chapter.
Hi, Rick. I'll
Hi.
tell you about what I thought. I think
Okay.
I'm wondering, is the book different from when I started the last time?
No, everything's the
Okay.
same. Yeah,
Okay.
it's almost identical. I mean, I shouldn't say it's almost. It is identical to everything we were doing last time. The only thing different is stuff that might be coming out of my mouth because I don't memorize exactly what I say or how I say it. But yeah.
Okay. Okay, awesome. Well, I really liked the top 50.
Good.
And
I was hoping somebody was going to bring that up because I was going to, if you guys didn't. But go ahead. Yeah.
And then I have been giving myself a bit of a beating this week about, like, each time I add something, whether it's, my daily 10 calls, or my thank you notes. And then I'm like, okay, how do I incorporate getting all my my top 50 into place? But I love it. And I love the calendar, like, of each month of like the things that you can, like when you can call and you can talk about certain things, wishing them a happy Valentine's Day.
Yes.
But I really like the whole idea of the top 50 because most of my business, as you know, I've done this for a long time, but most of my business is past clients and referral.
Right. Good.
So,
well, yeah. And from what I hear from all the people who know you, I mean, we have, I think on this call, what MC is in your neighborhood, the rest, everybody else is all over. But when people talk to me about Laura Lee, they always say, oh, she's well known in the community, which means you're probably, doing a good job of getting referrals and having people know you by reputation. But now, if you guys look back at, if you just go to the week 3 thing, you'll see that what I love about the first chapter, first video, what's it say? It says, let the world know you're in real estate. And when people talk to me and they go, Rick, if you went back to May of 1980, knowing what you know today, what would you do differently about your real estate career? And that's the number one thing I always say is I would yell it from the rooftops. I'd stop people on the street. Yeah, it's going to seem silly, but when you start selling more houses than everyone else, it doesn't seem silly. I can laugh at myself all the way to the bank, right? So that would be the biggest number one thing I would change. Because even though I was young, I was 22 years old, I'd been working in my mom's restaurant. I had worked at other restaurants. I'd ran a Wendy's, right? I had a degree in biology and got rejected by a bunch of dental schools. So I was still like, I don't know what I'm going to do for the rest of my life, But everybody said, oh, the family's in real estate. You should get in real estate. For the first several years, I was like, I'm not going to be doing this for a living. I'm just, here 42 years later, right? So the main thing is that you yelling that from the rooftop. rooftop. So my mom and dad had the restaurant from 1979. My dad had a corporate job. My mom would run the restaurant, and people would pay two ways: check and cash, guys. This is 1980. Credit cards were not the normal way to pay. In fact, I don't think we ever took no, we did not. We had no credit card machines or anything like that. And so credit cards were not the way to pay. So what happened, if the majority of people paid by check, my dad would take the checks and copy them for me. And that became my first database, all the people I served sandwiches to at my mom's restaurant. And then I had a Rolodex literally that was that big around, because I had so many people from the restaurant, and the restaurant mostly got cops and firefighters and city officials. And so, like, think about where you're not drawing names from. And I'm sure I told you guys this. In fact, I think I told you last time about, have I told you guys all about the yearbook stories? Right? I think I told you about yearbooks, using my son's yearbooks from high school. It was the same high school I went to, and all of those things. So you have unlimited resources to find buyers and sellers and not spend money on them, yet everybody wants to go spend money because it's easier. Here, I'll give you some of my hard-earned money, and then you send me crappy leads. Is that a deal? Good? We good? All right. And honestly, I always say there's no leads that are crappy. There's just leads that you haven't worked hard enough. So I don't want to contradict that, but I am saying a Zillow or internet lead compared to somebody that was in your yearbook, there's a world of difference there. There's a connection. I used to joke around about, look, the main thing that you want to do is connect with people, find something in common. Oh, do you breathe air? Because I breathe air also. Look at that. That would be the most ridiculous of things in common. But whenever anybody would tell me that they were from Fremont, California, which is 250,000 people right now, I'd say, oh, have you ever been to a restaurant called Minerva's? Like, if they had lived there, all I say, have you lived in Fremont more than 15 years? Yeah. I go, yeah, you ever went to a restaurant named Minerva's? Almost everybody go, Minerva's? Yeah, that was great. I go, that was my mom's. There's a point of connection. Did you ever go to Ohlone College, the junior college that's in Fremont? Yes. I used to run the charity foundation at Ohlone College. Like, just try, do all you can to find a connection. And if it has to be, we're both human beings, oh my gosh, whatever. But that's the whole thing. And this, to me, that's why I said, I don't know if you saw it in the email I sent earlier in the week, I said, week 3 can be life-changing, because this is the part of real estate that the newer you are, the less you pay attention to, because the world in real estate now isn't highlighting that as much, right? What the world is highlighting is, oh, social media and video, and that's great. I am not downplaying that, because I'm incorporating as much of that as possible. However, if you incorporate this, when we take over, when we at Workman start coaching teams that are doing 300, 400, 500 transactions a year, this is the first thing we find missing from every single one of them, is that all of those buyer's agents who have all lived great lives and have great pasts are not working the people they know. And so what do we immediately do? In most cases, for large teams doing several hundred deals, we usually can add 100 deals without one more penny of expense to the operation they're already running, by making them aware of what's missing. You think about all the agents that left standard residential resale business to do short sales and REOs in 2008, 9, 10, 11, and still to this day. And if you ask any of them, Jim Knowlton in New Hampshire, one of the top REO agents in the country, he said, my biggest mistake was abandoning my normal database just because they weren't buying and selling. Okay. Listen to the pain every single day, as my new team leader that oversees my team has also been assigned with the task of getting my database in order, and my top 50. We're doing a top 100, even though I've been warned by Viral not to do a top 100, but we're doing that. And she calls me every day to tell me who bought a home and didn't use me that's in my database. I feel so good. No, it's painful. All right. So you don't want that to happen to you. You don't want your neighbor down the street to put a Remax sign in the lawn. Because why? Even when my son was 8, he knew, my younger son, Joey, who's almost 33, he knew at 8 years old that, man, if there's somebody else's sign in the lawn, it's dad's fault, not the fault of the people for not using me. Julie, I'm sorry, you've had your hand up a while. Go ahead.
No, I would just, literally, that was my aha, top 50 as a newer agent.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And like she just mentioned the same,
Yes,
you're mentioning the same.
And thanks for bringing that up, because a lot of newer agents don't think, I don't have a top 50. That's bull. Right? Think of your friends. Think about the people that, do you know that the US government says if you graduated from high school in the United States, you know 2,000 people by first name and probably don't remember half of them, but you know them. Right?
So I copied your idea, went back to, my daughter is now 6th grade.
Yeah.
I have all the first 5-year yearbooks. And I was a mom's club, president of mom's club, because I was home that time.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know these moms, that I
Yeah.
know the kids, but I never looked at their full
Is
name
that the
in the
neighborhood you still
database.
live in? Is that the neighborhood you
And
still live in?
Yep. And then
Yeah.
that's what I was doing previous call. I'm just sending them this.
Yeah.
Happy Valentine's. And I'm not only your neighbor, I'm also the real estate agent card.
Nice. Oh my God. This warms my heart, but there's one thing missing. When are you
What?
calling them?
So I got the remind list ready.
Yeah. Oh, you did?
Yes. So
You guys stop right there. How many of you have an MLS that also includes, Laura Lee, you do, MC, you do have an MLS that includes Remind? You do? Yeah. Are you using it?
Oh, I love
Good.
Remind.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I did.
Yeah.
Shortlisted everything. And my goal is to call all these people just to say hi, like how you mentioned it in the last call.
Yeah.
How have you been in this last 2 years with craziness going on in the world?
Right.
Not saying anything about real estate.
Yeah. Marlise, our board does have Remind, I'm pretty sure, but double check. Okay. It's REMINE, Angela. It ends in an E. It's like remining your, like a mine, like you're going to mine gold out of a mine, like that kind of stuff. So it's a wonderful product. And I went to buy it once many years ago because our board didn't have it. And they go, sorry, sir, we don't sell it to individual agents. I was so frustrated. And finally, here I am 5 years later, our board finally got it. So, but you guys in the MLS listings area, which is MC Dwyer and Laura Lee, you have it. Crystal, I'm not sure if your board has it, but a lot of them do. So let's see, what did you ask there, Crystal? Is there a board? Yeah, aren't you a member of your MLS, Crystal? Can you come off mute?
Sorry, yes, I am, of course. I'm
okay, so if
a
you're
member of
the,
2 MLSs.
Okay, so your MLS has to be associated with a board. What's the name of the board of realtors you're associated with?
That's a good question. I'm so sorry. I feel a little uninformed. So
no, that's
I better
okay. Your
make
MLS,
sure I know.
Yeah, your MLS one MLS can be attached to several boards of realtors. Okay, because those are more geographical. The MLS is more regional. Okay,
Yeah.
so just ask Colleen the name of your board, but it would be Remine, REMINE, would be in your MLS. Not, I mean, but the board is the one who decides to bring it on as a product. So,
okay.
So check your MLS for the word Remind, or just call the MLS. Say, hey, do we have Remind?
Okay, wonderful. Yeah, I'm a part of the Santa Maria one and the Santa Barbara one, so I'll find out.
Oh, those are the boards. Are those MLSs or boards?
No, the MLS.
Okay, so they both have a board associated with them. So yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Like the MLS Marlise and I are a member of, covers like 6 boards or 7 boards of realtors. The one that MC and Laura Lee are part of, I think that's another 6 or 7 different boards of realtors that are covered by the same MLS. So anyway, Laura Lee, go ahead.
Rick, I'm sorry, but I'm not familiar with it, and I'm on the MLS right now looking for it. Where do you look within the MLS to find it?
It's going to be different for every. Julie, where are you? You're on the East Coast, aren't you?
Pennsylvania, but normally it should be under your market analysis or market data.
Yeah, or
then it's
member services.
member
It's really a
services,
member
yeah.
service, yeah. So,
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Well,
What is it
Crystal,
again?
that's what we're here for, is great tips. I love that you're on here.
Thank you so
I'm
much.
gonna put the name of it in here. That's what it's called. And so just call your board or call your MLS office and ask. Just say, do we have Remind and how do I find it? It's real quick, easy. So Julie,
Yeah.
go ahead, sweetie.
And or even on the home snap, you can have the contact list.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, associated person with the property, the
Yeah.
home snap, they have the whole training on that.
Yeah.
So Rick, how are you guys using Remind?
Well, who was that? Who asked that? Michael?
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, Remind will allow you to get details about people that you already have, like if they're a contact in your database. Julie, tell them some of the stuff. I mean, they
So-
literally have the ability to tell you what magazines they subscribe to.
Yep, almost like little mortgage. So I tied up with my mortgage lender, and even she gets the data for the first mortgage, second mortgage. You have everything, names, email addresses, phone numbers associated with that, and also how many people live there, like a census information is there, you name it. Like, it's like, I feel like it, absolutely you have everything.
Yeah.
Like when I saw that data about myself first, and my last name is not that common, I'm the only one in the United States, and I'm like, oh my God, they can see everything.
Yeah.
Realtors
Isn't-
have such a power.
Well, not us. I mean, if you just
I mean,
watch any of
like
the
it's a
shows
public
like I watch,
information.
yeah.
It's a public
surprising.
information, but it's yeah, I was surprised. Even bank that they have loan with, how much rate that they're having, how much equity in the house, you name it, everything is there.
Yeah.
And I imported that data to KV Core, to the CRM, so that I can have them in the drip campaign.
All right. Now this is good. So everybody seems enlightened about something that they could now go use. And if I said, what would you spend time on a day? I'd rather you spend time on Remind with your list of people going through it. Think about all the people you know, and think about all the people that you know that you forgot you knew, so therefore they're not on the list. Or think about the time you went into the grocery store down the street from where you currently live, where you grew up. How many of you live near where you grew up? Okay, well, that's at least half the room or half the call. Have you ever bumped into someone at a grocery store, at a store, and you're like, how are you, buddy? Because you can't remember their name. So you say buddy or pal or sport or hey, you know. Here's the thing. This is the time to drop your pride and say, I'm sorry, I 100% know you and I cannot remember your name or where I know you from. If they get mad, never talk to you again, it's the same thing as you not remembering them anyway. So who cares? So you're at that point anyway. But if they say, oh, no worries, I know you know a lot of people. My name's Cindy. We met in our senior year in high school, whatever. Or you saw, do you know how many times I'm door knocking houses and they'll open the door now after 42 years and they'll go, Rick Gihan. I go, hi, how do I know you? They go, you sold me this house. And even then they don't get mad because how long ago was it? Right. And I think I told you guys last week, I went to, did I tell you guys this? We went to a listing appointment. The listing was referred to us by an EXP agent in Idaho. Okay. And it actually went to one of my buyer's agents instead of me. He was looking for me, ended up with one of my buyer's agents. So she goes, Rick, we got to go do this listing appointment. She gets there 3 minutes before me. I walk in and they go, you sold our house in Hayward in 1988. Duh. I go, how many houses have you bought since then? They go, 2 other ones. Well, I didn't get involved in those. So yeah, when you hang around a long time, you know, so, all right. Angela, did you want to say something, or Jordan? Just go ahead and jump in. Angela,
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes, I want to say something. I just had to share this because I thought it was too awesome.
Yeah.
I live out here in Signal Hill, and we shop at Ralph's every week, right? And we always go
Right.
to our family. And all this time, I've never said anything about being a realtor, right?
Yeah.
So this particular day, I said, I'm going to say something to her. So when we got up there, I handed her my card. I said, hey, I'm into this. Da, 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 da. She was like, oh my God, I didn't know. This morning, she called me. I need your help with some housing stuff. Oh my God. So I have to call her today at 2:00. And she reached out through my KV Core. And
Nice.
I sent out a newsletter. I've been calling people. They're like, oh my God, Angela, how are you doing? I'm good. How are you? Never mentioning real estate. Oh, I see all your ads on Facebook. Well, not ads, I post stuff.
Right.
And you're in the real estate, right? That's an open door. I'm like, yes, I am. And if you're looking to buy or sell, hell, rent, I can help with that, you know, because renters turn into buyers sooner. So,
Angela, I love stories like that. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. Only the one thing I'd ask you to change is I get to call her at 2 o'clock. I don't have to call her at 2 o'clock.
I get to call her at 2 o'clock.
All right. Okay. Who else has something to add to this about this week? You got to remember, this was only 4 videos. I mean, yeah, video number 5 was a review, but gosh, compared to weeks 1 and 2, right? Wasn't this a lot easier in terms of number of videos? And I'm just going to throw these out there. Is your business plan done yet? That's a lot of work. That's hours and hours and hours of work, that business plan. If you'd like me to look at your business plan, email it to me. All right. And I'm going to put in here my email, and you always copy my assistant, please, because otherwise I might never see it.
Is anybody using the daily success habits tracker effectively and having success with it? Rick, of course.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So who said that? Who asked the question? Was that Michael?
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody in your group doing it?
Trying.
It's like
Okay,
we have to make a habit of using the habit tracker.
Yeah. Okay, but here's the thing, guys. What makes it easier is just setting the goal for number of points and how many days you'll turn it in to yourself or to Michael. Like, let Michael be your accountability partner, turn it into him. But that's the thing. If you keep thinking it's 5 days, 61 points, you're going to keep poking yourself in the eye with a needle rather than doing it. So if you just say, look, I got to get started. Monday's coming up, Monday the 24th. I'll get started. I'm going to do 15 points in a day, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or any 3 days. That gives you 4 days off, 3 days to do it. It's easier that way. Then remember that you're going to take a step up, either add a day or add a few points. Okay, I'll still do 3 days, but now instead of 15 points, I'm going to do 18 points, right? Just do that to get yourself started on that sheet. Okay. And you can do it with anything. That's why I asked you to do. Thank you, Laura Lee. That's all color coded, and purple is my favorite color. The Rick G. Howard Real Estate team is
right on.
yeah. Okay, this is the best. This is probably one of my best calls, including last year's ramp, because of the amount of participation and the activities that you're doing during the week. Okay, and these are the things that I really want you to look at. Like Judy, you smiled and you kind of half nodded, but I'm guessing from that your business plan is done or close to it, right? Good. The reason I say if you want to email it to me is to get another set of eyes on it, not to have criticism around it. Now, when I tell you something that could be more effective, that's not criticism. That's saying this might move you more in the direction, or this, like my favorite part of the business plan workbook is the SWOT analysis, where you take 5 blank copies, you give 2 to people that you know, like, and trust in the business, and 3 to people you know, like, and trust outside of the business. Okay. And ask them to say what they see your strengths and weaknesses are. Okay. And that's always a tough part for you, because, you know, your best friend could say, oh, you're mean, you know, or like me, my number one strength that I put was patience, and my wife and my assistant, my number one weakness was patience. There's a lesson for you.
So good.
Yeah. So anyway, that's the kinds of things that would really help. And that's why I come back about the business plan, because when we take over, even coaching, like I said, a large team, the first thing we do is we want everybody on your team to do a business plan. They're like, oh, we're selling hundreds of houses. I don't care. Do a business plan. What's life going to look like 3 months from now, 6 months from now? They come in on July. We say, okay, set your business plan for 12/31 of the same year, December 31st. What's it look like? So business plans are important because they are a map. All right. I can help you with what tools you'll need to use to, like, if you have a map with roads and everything, oh, and here's a gravel road and here's a smooth road, I'm going to show you the tools on how to get across all those roads. That's part of coaching, right? And that's what RAMP is. It's just these constant tools to use to get to that destination you set for yourself. So MC, honey, go ahead. You haven't said much today.
Yeah, I felt like jumping in, but then others did. So when you say to look at the business plan, is that like, do we just take the excerpt out of the week 1 from the workbook? Is that totality our business plan?
Well, no, week 1 of the videos is telling you that, let me see if I can grab a link for the business plan workbook, or I'll get, you know what I'll do? I'll get Gina to put it in there, a separate link for the business plan workbook. Are you all getting the emails announcing Friday's call?
Yeah.
It should be on the Facebook page, and it should be in Empire Builders. I think it's in the Ramp with Rick 2022 Facebook page.
I just didn't catch that there was a separate business plan.
Oh yeah, it's a workbook. It's 29 pages long.
Oh, okay. All right. Thanks.
Yeah. Let me see if I can, it's 10:37. I think I could probably get Gina to jump in and put it on. Let's see, hold on, sorry. Sorry, guys, I'm not as fast as most of you. Any chance I could get you to jump onto the ramp call really quickly and put a link for the business plan workbook into the chat, question mark? And also answer 1 or 2 quick questions about the email that goes out and the Facebook page, question mark? Okay, Gina will probably see that and jump on in a second, because honestly, guys, I'm stupid when it comes to a lot of that stuff. So hold on.
I printed it out of the workbook. Just got it on the RAMP workbook.
Was the whole business plan was in there?
It seemed to be, because
Okay, good.
like,
Was it 20? It should be 29 pages long, just the workbook.
pretty long.
Yeah, it's long. Guys, you got to remember, it's the only business, I've taught business plan workbooks for almost every company in the United States, every major real estate company. And this is the only one that blends, look at my fingers, it blends life and business. Most of them are just, here's your real estate business separately from life. And this one puts them all together so that you're facing facts about what's going on in your life while you're selling lots of real estate. So yeah, so who has the workbook in front of them? It should be, if you print up the workbook, so can you find it? You have, Laura Lee, did you order the one from Workman, or did you just print the one? Okay, yeah, if you printed it, it should be there in the front. I don't have it. Oh, you know where I actually do have it.
It's all of the chapter 1.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear all of you. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. So I printed it off of the, where all the videos are and everything. And in week 1, it looks like business plan starts on page 15 and then goes through to, I don't know, maybe it's like 49, I think. So it's just part of the week 1 workbook.
Yeah, let's see.
It has like the pages for the SWOT analysis and all of the objectives and accountability partner, all that stuff.
Yeah, let's see.
Contract.
Question 2B.
I think so, Rick, are we looking at like page 33 where, are you looking more for like the business goals?
No, the whole business plan itself, I'm looking in the workbook right now, starts on
Page 15.
And if you look at the table of contents, like it says business plan part 1.
Yeah, okay, but here it is. It starts as session 2B, business plan, first section. So page 15. Yes, okay, but here's the thing. This is doing it in a different sort of format than the actual business plan workbook, but the same questions. So I'm going to ask you to use your workbook and use the business plan workbook also, the actual business plan workbook, because the way they ask the questions might be a little different. You can use both of them. So if, let's see, what did Gina say? Okay, Gina's going to jump on in a second. I'm glad we thought of this early while we're not ending the call. Let's see. Okay, and then she'll answer the questions. Yeah, she'll answer the questions. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Yeah, she's going to jump on any second. Now she has a 7-month-old in her lap all the time nowadays with 3 monitors, and she's kind of running the world for me. So, okay, good. So as we go through that, one of the other things that I wanted to mention about chapter 3 or week 3. Hold on one second. Let me get to that again. Gosh, there was one more point I wanted to make. There we go. Week 3. Let's see. Okay, so the 2 other things that the one thing that they talked about that we didn't discuss today is mentoring, being mentored, or shadowing. For most of you, this can be a mentoring call, all right? Somebody say something? Okay, so I do also that you can find it on empirebuilders.pro under resources. I do a mentoring call on the 1st and 3rd Wednesdays at 3 p.m. California time. This is more geared to, a lot of it is about doing the business in California. So a lot of you are outside of California, but a lot of times it has to do, it has to do with scripts that you said to a buyer. What would I say to a buyer next time this happens, and things like that. So I am a certified mentor with EXP that mostly works on people in my area, but in general, like shadowing me would be a big waste of time because I'm not just a realtor anymore, right? I'm a speaker, I'm a trainer, I'm recruiting, I'm doing all kinds of different things in a day. But shadowing, Gina, you're on, good. Okay, let's stop. Gina put the workbook in the chat group. So click on it and save that link in your computer if you click on it. Number 2, Gina, everybody, there was a lot of people saying they didn't receive the emails, they just get on the calls. Where do they go to? Is it the Facebook page or empirebuilders.pro where they go to find the weekly emails and stay up to date? I believe it's the Ramp with Rick 2020.
It's on the Facebook page. So if you're missing any emails or recordings from previous calls, it's all on the Facebook page. I'll put it in the link here or in the chat here too. And if you feel like you're not getting any of the emails, just shoot me an email. I'll put that in the chat and let me know if you're not receiving those emails. Oftentimes they do go into your spam or junk folder. So just let me know, check your spam folders. And if you're still not receiving them, let me know and I will make sure you're on the list.
And Gina does not look like me at all, even though
I do not have a full beard.
Yes, she's half my age. All right. Yeah, this is good. And I had already given them their email because a lot of the people on the Ramp didn't know about the Free Friday coaching call. So you'll get a few emails from them about wanting to be joined onto the Free Friday coaching calls. So,
okay, great. I will add you all.
Yeah. So guys, there's the link. So you've got a link that's the workbook that if you open it up in your computer and then save it. And then there's the link to the Facebook page if you open it up on your computer and save it. Okay.
And the Facebook page one isn't correct. It just shows member requests and it's a blank screen.
Let me resend that real quick. Thank you for checking that. I think I was on the approval page. So let me see here. All right, there you go. That should work.
Who figured that out? I wouldn't have been able to figure that out.
I think it just took her straight to the member request page.
Okay, good. Yeah. So, and then you can just, good. Everybody's got it. All right. So, again, the Free Friday coaching calls 1st and 3rd. These calls are every Friday at 10 a.m. It's important to me that you're on the Facebook page just in case I want to add something to that page between calls, stuff like that, besides emails. And I am not right away, I'm not promising, but I am going to incorporate doing some things on the Facebook page between the calls, but I haven't gotten that into my calendar yet. So, okay. All right. Okay. So that's all I've got for today, but I want to make sure before we get off that we've covered all the areas of week 3. You have the power of the workbook. I want you to take some time and compare what the workbook looks like, the business plan workbook, going through it, because most of the people that get the business plan workbook have never taken RAMP yet, or not taken RAMP yet. They get the workbook. I do these classes every year where I go, between September and January, I do about 25 or 30 different business plan clinics where we go through the workbook, talk about the mindset. We don't get it all filled out, but we talk about what issues you're going to experience in filling it out. So those are things that are right. So, all right. Okay. Any questions, thoughts, comments, ahas, anything you have before we hit the road?
I have a question, Rick.
Yes, Laura Lee.
You wear so many hats, like you do so many things. What is your best advice for time blocking? Because I have great intentions, and then I know it's me. I allow my day I get in reaction to, as opposed to undistractable. I want to be indistractable this year. Yeah,
your day is running you. You're not running your day. Very common and nothing to beat up on yourself about. So how many of you put stuff in your calendar and didn't do it? Every one of you better raise your hand. Okay, putting it in the calendar doesn't make it happen. It just makes you realize that you have decided that you're going to fail again on what you did put in your calendar. That's all that happens. And so therefore, guess what's happening? You have demons, right? The demons. We talked all about this on the Free Friday coaching call just now, and it was probably, for me, one of my best calls I've ever had, because I really felt like I was hitting points that really affect me personally, and I could see everyone else, sort of seeing that they do the same things. So, your demons. So for instance, last night, my wife and I went to dinner, date night, promised no phones, right? So I grabbed my phone and I said, Siri, set an alarm for 7:59 p.m. for me to call the stager. Okay, now I'm not interrupting our dinner. I'm not having to text the stager, say, sorry, I forgot, So when I'm putting stuff that's very important in my calendar, I also set an alarm in my phone, all right? So those are different ways that I do. Plus, I'll put notes, an actual handwritten note, because I know me. Mm-hmm. So this morning when I opened my computer screen, it's up right now, it's a laptop. When I opened it, there was a yellow note right there stuck on the screen, reminding me about something else that if I needed to really get that done today. Your question is, all the things I've been doing isn't working. What can I do to make them work? Well, you get help. Okay. So Casey will remind me nighttime. Casey thinks a lot about things at nighttime and then she'll remind me. I go, honey, please. It's the third time you're reminding me, but you're reminding me at night. Can you remind me during the day? Right. And then when I say that to her, I go to my phone and I go, remember, for like 11 a.m., I'll have an alarm go off that's got a code on it. Because if you say that to Siri, she writes down what your alarm was for, and you can type it in yourself. Say, remember to call American Airlines and cancel the flight to Puerto Rico, right? Mm-hmm. Like those kinds of things. Just putting it in your calendar doesn't work. However, once you've done it enough, for instance, basketball, even though I'm not in Fremont right now, and it's a drive for me, depending on where I am, it's in my calendar to leave the house at 4:30 a.m. on Wednesday, Fridays, and Saturdays. And if I'm at this house, the one we just bought, I'm 2.5 hours, I'm not going to basketball, right? It's too long of a drive to drive 2.5 hours, play basketball for an hour, and then drive back. But if I'm in town at my other home, it's a 30-minute drive. I'm leaving at 4:30. I'm getting there at 5:05. I'm stretching and warming up till 5:25. We start playing. Like everything is detailed in my calendar and color coded. Even when I know I have a listing appointment, Laura Lee, and this I hope will help all of you. The first thing I do when I have a listing appointment is decide on my drive time. So if it's a 15-minute drive, I put in 30 minutes for drive time. If it's a 30-minute drive, I put in an hour for drive time. Okay. Because what does that get me to do? It gets me to leave my office in plenty of time to get there. And even if I miss by 5 or 10 minutes leaving the office, I'm still going to be fine. Mm-hmm. My drive time is coded green, and Gina knows that green is called drive time / productive time, because I'm very good at being in the car with this on, my headset, and telling Siri who to call. And sometimes before I get in, I'll grab a little sticky note, write 3 names or numbers that I need to call on the drive, and I'll stick them on my dashboard when I get in the car and just drive and make my calls. So you can help yourself. Like I talk to people all the time. They go, "Oh, Rick, I have to pull over. I can't talk to you on the." I'm like, I feel sorry for people like that, and it's okay because some people can't do that. That's all right, but I can. I can drive and talk on the phone and make things happen. And then I record little voice messages into my notes, my iPhone notes, so that I remember if there's something I need to do. And by the way, like I told you guys, or I told any of you that were on the previous call, that iPhone notes has become the notes in the Apple Notes that show up on my computer, on my iPad, and my cell phone are very helpful for helping with habits. And this is the kind of stuff I really love talking about because it's the actual systems that keep you moving along in your business. You know your demons. If you need to tell your brother, sister, mother, wife, husband, or somebody else on your team to remind you to do it, then do it. Because just putting it in your calendar is not enough. And Gary Keller used to say this all the time. If it's not in your calendar, it doesn't exist. But my problem was it didn't exist even when it was in my calendar. What good is putting something in your calendar if you don't look at your calendar? And how many times have both my wife and I done that? That's when you hear the OF word going on in the house because we had an appointment, we had it in the calendar, we got our reminder, and we still somehow missed it.
Thank you.
Does that help, Laura Lee? Did that actually help, or did you just hear what you've been hearing from other people?
No, it does, because like if I had a really busy weekend and then it seemed like the week I didn't do my daily 10. So I knew every day I need to do it, but then I'm trying to fit in all these things. But so it's a great reminder to know that it's a reminder.
Yeah.
It's my intention to get to it. And
All right. You just struck on another point. We like to take Sundays off, but we don't always take Sundays off. But one thing that always gets done on Sunday for me is organizing my week by texting people and going, can we move this here, move this there? Because in your mind, you want to do things, but until you start putting them in your calendar and actually realizing them and saying, oh, this is going to have to move here. I spend more time preparing to have a great week than I do having the great week because I want to do it. Like when she told me that we were shifting the day, Casey told me, oh, we're shifting the day. We're not leaving home on Thursday night. We're leaving for home on Friday late morning. Then I'm like, oh my God, I got to shift all these things around in my mind. And it had me move Saturday and all these appointments I have on Saturday. But till you sit down and get them in your calendar and put, where am I going to drive? Because you start in your mind, you go, yeah, I can handle that and that. But then when you stop, I take notes. That's what I'm really good at. That's what I got to admit, Laura Lee. And that might be where the difference is, because I can screw up a lot. But when I sit down, I have tons of paper right here that when I'm like, if I'm thinking about, oh, there's that, I just keep writing them on here, and then I'll finally get them into my calendar and be dismissed by it. You get it? And since Gina has got me on something called Exchange, so we use Outlook. So everything I put in my calendar adds up in my phone and my iPad by itself, magic that Gina does. And so the reminders will pop. That's the other thing, is learning how to use notifications. I didn't know notifications, but now I'm paying attention to my notifications. So I'm becoming an adult in a technology world that I wasn't familiar with. Because you got to remember that the way I used to remember things is put them in this little calendar on my desk where you went, and then I would try to remember to look at that calendar when I got there. And then sticky notes all over my computer and everything, just crazy stuff. So even Gina taught me how to do sticky notes, the actual app on my computer, so that they weren't actual paper sticky notes anymore. So different things. Pick up something that you like. People are talking to me about Trello. I'm like, I don't want a taco Trello. Thank you very much. It's too confusing for me. So just find your way to help you stay on top of things. Okay. The other thing too is Workman Success Systems offers you the use of an Agile. I don't know if it's included in your plan, but John at workmansuccess.com. This guy, John at workmansuccess.com, is in charge of the RAMP program and all the stuff that we do through Workman for empirebuilders.pro. You can ask him if he has access to an Agile. And an Agile, I'll put it in here, is a way to dump all the thoughts in your mind into one Google Doc. Dump them all, everything you need to do, everything that needs to get organized. And then you can take each one and prepare what's called a sprint, which is all the different things you need to do to take care of that one item. And so it keeps it out of your head and your paper, and it keeps it on a Google Doc. And we've had access to it, but we're using it more now than we ever have on our team. Me and Gina, Shauna, Casey, all of the leaders on the team. So, okay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, guys. That was a good, healthy discussion, and we're at 10:56. Any last minute comments? Okay.
Rick, can I say something quickly?
Yeah, go ahead.
This book is really helping me a lot. English is my fourth language, and those scripts are really, really helping me so that I can, like, I obviously have to translate in my own things and how I will say it, but yeah, that is really
fourth language, Julie?
Yes.
What are you even dealing with us people? Like, we're all below you. What are the first three?
So I'm originally from India, came here for my MBA. So three Indian languages. So and English was my fourth as a communication.
But what were the names of the three Indian
Marathi, Hindi. Yeah, because those are regional language, and Gujarati.
Because I had not heard of the first or the third.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Hindi is our national language. So.
Yeah. Okay, good. I remember there was a time when I spoke 4 languages, but I've forgotten most of them. I used to speak French, Greek, English, and Arabic, but now I just speak English and Arabic. So yeah, wow, that's crazy. Good for you. What should we all should be doing that? Well, what's that? What were you referring to, Crystal?
That she speaks 4 languages. And yeah, I always make this joke about, oh, you're bilingual, trilingual, and then there's multilingual. But what is it if you only have 1 language? Oh, you're American.
That's great, Crystal. That's hilarious. All right. Look, guys, I love talking to you guys. This is the most fun I have in a week. So I'll see you next Friday. And again, I'm going to do my best to get something on the Facebook this week to help you through the week. All right. Okay. Bye, everybody.
Awesome. Thank you.
Take care. All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Rick. Bye.